Hey, listen, fellas, I'm really excited about the episode today. I'm very excited about the episode today. For some reason, I feel like what I'm about to explain, what I'm about to talk about right now is talking to someone in particular. It's talking to many of you in particular that have gone through this and who are going through this presently right now. They need to hear this word. They need to hear it. So if I feel like someone needs to hear it, I'm excited about bringing it to you. Can I bless you, fellas? Can I bless you, sister? Well, let's make it happen. Listen, today's episode is about do not relive, but revisit and release. Do not relive, revisit it and release it. See, when you relive something, I mean, if you relive something that happened to you as a kid when you were 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Perhaps you got in trouble. You got caught stealing. Perhaps you were touched by a family member when you were adolescent. Perhaps your mom or your father or a family member passed away and you blame yourself. Maybe you blame yourself for a breakup or divorce between your mom and dad. When you relive something, it's taking yourself back into a situation that happened in your past and reliving it. See, your subconscious mind does not realize this is just a thought. The subconscious mind does not understand, or nor does it care, what is the difference between a thought and reality. If you constantly relive it over and over and over and over, it begins to be a loop in your mind over and over and over again. And subconsciously, mentally, you actually relive that. That's why you bring your past curses and then cross-contaminate your future and your present blessings. It's something called your RAS. Look it up. It's called the Reticular Activating System. Whatever it is that you focus on, it becomes your reality. Have you ever went out and bought a car, or maybe you were even interested in a car, and as soon as you bought this car, everywhere you went, you saw this car. Before you got the car, you didn't see the car. But now that you bought the car, everywhere that you went, you saw this car. That's because of your reticular activating system. The cars has always been there. Those cars were always on the road, but because you are focused in on that particular car, now that's all you see is this car. The same too. When you focus in on something in your life, that's all you can see is that situation. See, the reticular activating system, the RAS, whatever belief it is that you have and you hold to be true, the RAS works overtime to validate that belief. It makes you believe, it makes you feel that that belief is true. So if something happened to you as a kid, if someone touched you as a kid, if your parents divorced or broke up as a kid and you believe that it was your fault, every time that you relive it, you take yourself back in that same space as a kid. From today to that space as a kid, and you relive it over and over again, as opposed to revisiting it. See, when you revisit something, you don't relive it. There's a difference between revisiting and reliving. When you relive it, you're actually there. When you revisit something, you look at it from a brand new, fresh, more mature perspective. You look back and say, when I was 8 years old and my father left my mother, and I thought it was because it was my fault. I thought they didn't love me. That's what I thought. When I revisit that as a 38-year-old, 30 years removed, I look at it with a 38-year-old mentality. I look at it with a 38-year-old understanding. I look at it with a 38-year-old maturity, and I see things differently. And I look at it outside of myself, looking at me from today as my younger self. And I look back and say, man, that 8-year-old kid, mom and dad, got a divorce. That 8-year-old kid blamed him or herself for his dad leaving, but it wasn't his fault. He couldn't see that. But now that 8-year-old kid is a 38-year-old man, and I can see that. I can see the difference. And once I can revisit something as opposed to reliving it, it's easier for me to do the third component of what we're talking about today. And that's the fun part. That's releasing it. That's letting go. That's how you let go. I know I spoke about this in a video earlier, and I didn't get into detail. I didn't get into depth about letting go. I gave you some anecdotes and I gave you some examples, but I'm getting a little more into depth how you actually let go. This is the process of letting go. You cannot relive the situation. Remember that. You cannot relive the situation, but you must revisit the situation. You must revisit it. You must look at it from a different perspective. You must look at it from today's perspective. All the things that you went through personally and vicariously, all the things you've looked at and you learned, the documentaries you've seen, the books you read, the magazine articles you read, your friends and families who have went through similar things, and you learn from their experiences. You put all those experiences into practice, into a big pot, and you stir it all up like a gumbo of experience. And you put down with your revisiting, and you see the error in your ways. And after you put down, you put it down, you drop it, you let it go, you release. You're not captured by it. You're not captured by it. You fishing for game. You catch and release. You catch and release, which means I get it. And once I get it, I let it go. I don't grab my problems. I don't grab my issues from a child and bring them up to the future and catch it and put it on a boat and take it to a taxidermist. I don't take it to a taxidermist. You don't take it to a taxidermist and get it framed and put it on the wall and look at it every day and relive it and cry about it. If I told you a joke and you found that joke funny, and as soon as I told that joke, I retold that joke and you found that joke funny again. And as soon as I told that joke again, I retold that joke again, over and over and over and over and over and over again, until I told you the same joke 28 times. Would you laugh as hard the 28th time I told a punchline to that joke as you did the first time that I told a joke? Of course not. Of course not. See, we don't laugh at the same jokes over and over and over and over and over with the same intensity, with the same vigor, with the same liveliness. But we will cry over and over and over about the same pain, about the same hurt, about the same disappointment over and over again. Emotions steamrolling. Cry harder as the time goes. I cried hard the first day that she left me. I cried even harder on the 13th day that she left me. Because the emotions keep building up. It keeps sweltering up. I'm building up until I explode. I've known women who were raped as little girls. I've known countless women that have told me they were taken advantage of by their uncle, by their cousins, their brothers, even a couple by their fathers. And 20 plus years later, they cry and weep and break down like it just happened yesterday. Because they keep reliving it. They keep reliving it. And I promise you, sisters, I promise you, brother, I'm empathetic. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Not your exact pain, but I feel pain for your pain. Because I have my own. But I've realized via my own experiences, I cannot relive my pain. I have to revisit my pain. I have to see my pain with a different perspective and a more mature perspective. I have to take control of my RAS. It just doesn't work in a negative form. If you use your reticular activating system, your RAS, to focus in on the good, your brain will work in overtime to validate those thoughts. So you have to be conscious about your sub-vocalization. Your sub-vocalization just means what you say to yourself, the conversation you have with yourself. Everything is dependent on the conversation that you have with you. Not that I have with you, but what you say to yourself. That's all that matters. And if you ever can get that, I don't care what has happened in your past. I don't care how bad, how traumatic it was. You have a chance of not reliving it, but indeed revisiting it and releasing it. I hope that today's episode was really edifying for you. Remember your RAS. Remember to make your life a really awesome story. And if you got anything from this episode today, if I gave you anything, don't be so selfish. Don't let me feed you, and you can't give me no feedback. If I could take 10 to 15 minutes to feed you, take 10 to 15 seconds and give us some feedback. Comment below. I promise you I'm here. I got your back. TGI.